There's one animal that can send an entire household into a panic the instant it's spotted. A dark shape flickering across the porch light at dusk, silent, erratic, gone, before anyone gets a good look. Most people's first reaction is fear. Some reach for a broom, others just want it gone, out of the yard, out of the attic, out of sight. But what if that same animal spent the last hour clearing thousands of mosquitoes out of the exact airspace above your backyard barbecue? What if it's one of the reasons certain fruits, cactus flowers, and even the plant tequila is made from still exist at all? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, that flicker at dusk is never going to mean the same thing to you again. We've spent this channel uncovering the same pattern again and again. Something looks unsettling in the dark, so it gets feared, chased off, or destroyed, without anyone stopping to ask what it was actually doing out there. Nothing triggers that instinct faster than a bat. Erratic flight, nocturnal habits, and decades of horror movie imagery have combined to make bats one of the most feared animals that can show up around an ordinary home. And that fear comes at a real cost, because bats are quietly doing several jobs at once that most homeowners would gladly pay for if they understood what was actually happening after dark. Here's the reveal. Bats have been on Earth for more than 50 million years, and with over 1,500 known species, they make up the second largest order of mammals on the planet, found on every continent except Antarctica. Nearly all bat species found in the United States are insectivorous, meaning insects make up their entire diet. Globally, bats provide vital ecosystem services in the form of insect pest consumption, plant pollination, and seed dispersal, and scientists specifically describe them as essential to the health of ecosystems worldwide. That's not a minor role played by a rare, specialized species. It's the nightly work of an entire order of mammals, numbering in the billions, operating almost completely unnoticed while most of us are asleep. This is the fact that should matter most to anyone who's ever been eaten alive at a summer barbecue. A single bat can eat up to 1,200 mosquito-sized insects in just 1 hour, and across a full night of hunting, an individual bat typically consumes somewhere between 4,000 and 8,000 insects. For a pregnant or nursing mother bat, the appetite is even more extreme. Some can eat up to the equivalent of their entire body weight in insects in a single night, fueling the enormous energy demands of flight and raising young at the same time. Now scale that up. Researchers estimate that insect-eating bats save U.S. farmers somewhere in the range of billions of dollars annually by reducing crop damage and limiting the need for pesticides, with some estimates for the corn industry alone landing over $1 billion a year. Multiple credible estimates for bats' total agricultural value across the country range from roughly $3 billion to over $20 billion annually, depending on the study and region. Every one of those figures starts the same way, with a single bat, alone in the dark, clearing insects out of the exact airspace most people never think to look up into. This is the part almost nobody expects from an animal most people associate purely with darkness and caves. While most U.S. bats eat insects, certain species, especially in the southwestern United States and throughout the tropics, feed on nectar instead, and in doing so, they pollinate flowers the same way bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds do, just after dark, when most other pollinators have gone home for the night. The saguaro and organ pipe cactuses of the American Southwest specifically depend on long-tongued nectar-feeding bats for their pollination and survival. Without bat visits, these iconic desert plants would struggle to reproduce at all. And here's a detail that tends to surprise people the most. Bats are the primary pollinators of agave plants, the exact plant tequila is made from. Somewhere behind every bottle, there's a nectar-feeding bat that helped make it possible in the first place. In tropical regions, fruit-eating bats take on a completely different but equally critical role: seed dispersal on a massive scale. Fruit bats eat ripe fruit and then excrete the seeds in flight, often carrying them a considerable distance from the parent tree before the seeds ever land. Deposited along with their own natural fertilizer, those seeds go on to grow into new fruit trees, actively helping regenerate degraded or cleared rainforest habitat. In many tropical forests, bats are considered among the primary seed dispersers for numerous tree species, meaning entire sections of rainforest recovery quietly depend on bats doing what they've always done after dark: eating, flying, and moving on. Even what a bat leaves behind turns out to be valuable. Bat guano, the accumulated droppings found beneath roosts and caves, is recognized as an exceptionally rich natural fertilizer, containing significant nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, the same core nutrients most commercial plant fertilizers are built around. It also carries beneficial microbes that improve overall soil health, and it's been used specifically for its fungicidal properties in some gardening applications. For centuries, bat guano has been harvested directly from caves and used as a valuable, sustainable fertilizer, well before synthetic alternatives existed. It's not just a byproduct of a bat's usefulness. In its own right, it's one more piece of it. To be completely fair, and this is genuinely important, bats deserve a more careful safety conversation than most of the misunderstood animals on this channel, and skipping that wouldn't be responsible. Bats can carry rabies, and unlike some animals we've covered where that risk is largely a myth, this one is real. Public health agencies specifically identify bats as a leading source of human rabies exposure in the United States. The actual infection rate within wild bat populations is low, and the overwhelming majority of bats you'll ever see flying at dusk pose no direct threat simply by existing in your yard. The real risk comes specifically from direct contact. Never handle a bat with bare hands, especially one that's grounded, acting unusually, or found inside a living space. If you wake up to find a bat in a room where someone was sleeping, or if any direct contact, bite, or scratch occurs, public health guidance is clear. Treat it as a potential exposure and contact a medical professional and local animal control promptly, since a bat bite can be small enough to go unnoticed. None of that changes the ecological case this video has made. It simply means the right response to a bat flying through your yard at dusk is to leave it alone and let it work, while the right response to direct, physical contact is caution and a phone call, not panic and not a broom. The mistake isn't feeling a flicker of unease the first time a bat swoops past a porch light. That reaction is almost universal. The mistake is treating every bat sighting as an emergency, chasing away or harming an animal that, from a safe distance, is doing more free pest control, pollination, and ecological work in a single night than most homeowners realize is even happening above their heads. Tonight, as the sun goes down, bats will lift off from roosts in attics, tree hollows, and caves across the country, and begin a shift most people will never see the results of. By morning, thousands fewer mosquitoes will be waiting in the yard. A cactus flower somewhere in the desert will have been visited in the dark. A seed, wrapped in its own fertilizer, will have landed somewhere new, with a chance to grow into something else entirely. None of it will make the news. None of it will trend online. It will simply happen, quietly, the same way it has for 50 million years, long before anyone was around to be afraid of it. The question isn't whether something that flies through the dark deserves a moment of unease. The question is how much of the world around you, tonight, already depends on it doing exactly that. If you see a bat flickering past your porch light tonight, let it keep working, and subscribe, because next time, we're uncovering another misunderstood creature, carrying more value than anyone gives it credit for.